Good evening and welcome to the 565th episode of Travelitz Radio. That was a mouthful. I'm Dan Schlossberg along with my friend and co-host Roger Noriega, and we're in the 13th season of Travelitz Radio. I love that Spock imitation. The show that lets you enjoy the pleasures of travel from the comfort of your armchair.
Every week at this time, we talk to people representing destinations, hotels, airlines, railroads, car rental companies, and others in the world of travel and hospitality, from authors and bloggers to broadcasters and publicists. If it's got anything to do with travel, it's got everything to do with Travelitz Radio.
And our guest today is Christy Mathern, editor of the Wallet Hub website. Welcome, Christy, to Travelitz Radio.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Christy, for viewers who don't know about Wallet Hub, please explain what it is, when it started, and where viewers can find it.
Wallet Hub is a personal finance website that offers tools and resources for consumers to make informed financial decisions. That's what we do first and foremost. We also published lots of studies like city and state rankings, such as the most fun cities in America, for different topics all across the board. And we've been around since 2013.
Wallet Hub has just released a report on the most fun states in America for 2024. How many criteria were used and what were your key metrics? And do you consider everything from movie prices to nightlife options per capita?
Well, for the most fun states in America study, we used 26 metrics, and these kind of run across categories like entertainment, recreation, and nightlife. So all those 26 metrics fall into one of those categories, basically. And yeah, these metrics range from movie costs to nightlife options per capita. And we cover everything from accessibility to national parks to the number of restaurants, fitness centers, and all the way to when last call is. That was a favorite of mine. And because we're Wallet Hub, we looked at average costs of certain things too, like a night at the movie theater, and how much people spend on a state's recreation services.
Okay, what state won and why? Take us through your top 5, please.
Sure. So Florida won the top spot this year, and it is thanks to a wide range of entertainment options, including the most restaurants, amusement parks, and marinas per capita. It also ranked high for music festivals and lots of access to shoreline. And next up, we got California. It follows closely in second place. It had lots of attractions, restaurants, and outdoor access. And I will say that California and Florida kind of duke it out every year, it seems like. One of them gets the top spot, and this year it just happens to be Florida. Third is Nevada. New York is fourth, and Colorado is fifth.
Okay, well, here's a picture from Florida that I took. Hammond Stadium in Fort Myers, home of the Minnesota Twins during spring training. It is a Victorian ballpark. I love it. I love the historic ballparks. It's really beautiful.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, so we hear Florida leads the nation in number of restaurants, theme parks, arcades, and music festivals per capita. Is that because its climate is so benign?
You could say that partially. Florida's climate does encourage this year-round tourism, and it allows for people to do things outside all year too. Warm weather really does make it an attractive destination for both, southern residents and tourists from all over the country and the world. It boosts demand for leisure and entertainment options. So, like, for instance, I grew up in Louisiana. I'm not sure I'd say the climate was benign necessarily, but even we went on vacation in Florida a couple of times. They just have really nice beaches and there's plenty of stuff to do. Even though we have plenty of coast in Louisiana, we would escape to Florida sometimes.
According to your report, Florida ranks only 12th in best weather overall. I bet Arizona and California are ahead of it. But what about the other states?
Well, a couple of states are ahead of Florida, right? So we have Nevada, Arizona, California, Hawaii, and Texas are a couple of the states that ranked better in weather. Florida has this whole hurricane threat thing every once in a while. It can really put a damper on things occasionally. So yeah, that might explain the 12th ranking.
And we're talking today with Christy Mathern of Wallet Hub.
Speaking of California, and here in Southern California, where it's 108, your report said it has the most movie theaters per square foot. No surprise in the state where Hollywood is located. But is California only sixth in variety of arts, entertainment, and recreation establishments?
Yeah, so California ranks sixth in the variety of arts, entertainment, and recreation establishments, despite its being home to Hollywood. While California is kind of known for its vibrant entertainment industry compared to other states, such as New York and Florida, we also see significant entertainment sectors there. So California is really good with movie theaters and movie making, but other states do offer a broader range of entertainment.
Wallet Hub also found California also has the most restaurants per square foot of population. That Texas has the most amusement park per square root of population, and that Alaska, also been there, has the most personal spending on recreation services per capita. Is that why all three states made the Wallet Hub most fun states of 2024 list?
Yeah, absolutely. So California has a ton of restaurants and stuff like that. Texas has lots of amusement parks. And we all know Alaska is really good at recreation services. These things all kind of tell us that these states are committed to entertainment. And the more committed they are to fun, the more fun people have, and the more likely they are to end up on a list like this.
It's good to know. Now, Dan is from New Jersey, the most densely populated state in the nation, but it's not even in your top 20 in the most fun states of 2024. I don't care, but Dan does. Could you please explain? Sorry. Sorry.
Well, New Jersey ranked 37th in our most fun states of 2024, which is not super great. No. It falls short of the top 20 due to lower scores in a couple of key categories like entertainment and recreation. And it offers a lot of fitness centers, so it ranked fifth there. But it lags in nightlife options and other attractions when you compare it to other states. And one thing I thought about with this question is that you say it's the most densely populated state, and that might have something to do with its ranking, since a lot of our factors are per capita. So if there's a lot of people there and not a lot of places or not a lot of room for things like movie theaters or amusement parks, you might have less of them per capita, right?
Well, we are called the Garden State.
Yeah, well, you got a couple gardens there, right?
Yes, Joyzy. Are the state-sponsored tourism campaigns successful in bringing new visitors to a state, or is it primarily word of mouth?
That's a good question. So state-sponsored tourism campaigns can be successful, and they can raise awareness about stuff that, states are trying to push, or like lesser known attractions, and they can create a strong brand image for the state. But word of mouth is a really powerful thing in decision making, especially for vacations. Say if like your mom tells you that she had a great time somewhere, or your best friend tells you that you need to go on that Alaska cruise. That's kind of a powerful thing versus this, ad campaign just showing up on a TV screen somewhere. So I think ideally a successful tourism campaign would generate buzz that leads to this positive word of mouth. So it would be a combination of both.
Thank you for that. Both Florida and Arizona are known as destinations for snowbirds. Is it because they leave frigid northern destinations for a much more pleasant climate?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So both Florida and Arizona are popular destinations for people that live in colder climates because they have such nice, cozy climates in winter. So this is a really welcome escape from these like chilly regions of winter months. I live in a winter place now. I grew up in Louisiana, like I said, which doesn't really have any winter. That's not a thing there. So I now understand that we have to leave during winter if we don't ski. We just have to go to a beach somewhere and kind of get the vitamin D going.
We're talking today with Christy, and I did not get the last name. I'm so sorry, Christy.
Mathern.
Mathern. You see, I would have said Mathern, and I would have blown that. I'm sorry.
Mathern, everybody
correct?
does. It's fine. Yes, it's Mathern.
of Wallet Hub. Thank you, Christy.
Christy, does your survey include Canadians too? I know I see plenty of Canadian license plates from Florida when I cover baseball spring training every year.
It doesn't. We don't look at Canada for these, unfortunately, but that's definitely making me curious just because you see a lot of Canadian license plates in Florida, which makes total sense to me. Like, if I lived in Canada, would definitely go visit Florida, especially for baseball. Why not?
Well, I'd like to know how much these ratings change from year to year.
So the rankings from year to year don't change a ton. The top states are, California, Florida, and Nevada, and those three pretty much stay the top three. California and Florida might switch places here and there, but Nevada seems to consistently rank third, and for the most states move up or down maybe one notch. It's pretty stable as far as fun goes.
Okay, speaking about Wallet and Wallet Hub, how will tourism be impacted by inflation this year?
Oh, I'm so glad that I can answer this a little bit positively. I mean, inflation has been a huge problem in the past couple of years, as we're all aware. It's getting better these days, but I don't think people have really recovered from high prices yet. Inflation is probably going to impact tourism this year too. It's still going to be a little more expensive to travel, and people are a little more strapped for cash still. Despite this kind of rise in travel costs, a lot of Americans, according to our surveys that we've done, are still planning vacations. And some people are going to use credit card rewards to offset expenses. But a significant portion of travelers plan to spend less this summer compared to last year.
So what are your tips, Christy, for people seeking to have fun without breaking the bank?
Oh, this is a good one. So you can go on a staycation. That's always fun. If you live in one of these very fun states, you could just hang out in your own town. And I think most cities and states and most capital cities have some sort of fun attraction for you to do. Whether it's a museum, you can learn more about the place you live, or you can visit a national park where you live. Staycations can be really cool, and they're a lot cheaper, obviously. You could also try a road trip. I'm not exactly sure how much cheaper that would be versus flying somewhere, but you can make it cheaper. Say if you have like a camper or or you're fond of tent camping or something like that, you could cut out the accommodations bill by doing a road trip. And it's personally, I think road trips are a lot more fun than a plane ride, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Is there a formula for on-the-road spending, such as allocating in advance the percentage of your income you're willing to spend on food, accommodations, rental cars, entertainment, and airplane tickets?
I think the formula is going to kind of depend on what you do when you go on vacation and, how much you go out to eat, for example. But generally, you're going to want to determine your total travel budget, like how much money you want to spend on a trip or on travel in general. And you're going to allocate different percentages for each thing. So say you like to go out to eat and food can be 30 or 40% of your budget. Accommodations can be 40%, transportation can be, 20%, and entertainment can be 10%. And, you always do want to have a cushion somewhere. So make sure you save a couple percents for unplanned expenses. If you have to buy a tire or if you have to rent a car or, who knows what could happen. But generally speaking, it's going to kind of depend on what your priorities are when you travel.
Speaking of spending, Christy, do people overspend on Las Vegas vacations, hoping they'll get the money back from gambling and one-armed bandits in the casinos?
This is an assumption, but I would imagine so. I would imagine that's right on the money. This is going to lead to higher spending, of course, and you're not going to save anything with that. Like the odds are generally against you, right? So I'll just say it. This is not a good idea. Don't overspend going to Vegas hoping you're going to make up for it with your winnings. That's a little bit confident, I think.
Have you ever done that?
Me? No. No, I've never even been to Vegas. I went to
Really?
Reno one time.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not much of a gambler, you know. I work at Wallet Hub. It's hard to be.
That's
Reno's a little version of Las Vegas, you know.
That was funny.
I'm sure it's very fun, but
It
eh.
is. Okay, we're talking today with Christy Mathern of Wallet Hub.
Would you say the travel industry is still feeling the effects of the COVID closures we endured in 2020 and thereafter?
Yeah, I do. I think there was a huge surge in travel immediately after the restrictions were lifted because we were all just itching to get out. But I think current inflation and in the past few years, everything has just cost a little more. And some of that is still due to these after effects from COVID restrictions, right? The economy just kind of shut down and supply chains were weird and airlines had to do all kinds of fun changes to their business models and to stay afloat. So yeah, I think a lot of people are opting for staycations or cutting back on travel expenses, generally trying to manage budgets better. So, but despite this, travel is recovering, and a lot of people are willing to spend on vacations. Because I don't know about you, but I it's fresh in my mind. I haven't forgotten what it's like to not be able to go on vacation or travel. So I think that's just something we're gonna keep in mind from at least for the next 10 years, right?
Yeah. Do you find families are willing to pay higher prices during the summer?
Yeah, absolutely. Despite inflation and all the stuff that we've been through and COVID, there's still a strong desire to travel and enjoy summer activities. It's the nicest time of year in a lot of places. So people are increasingly ready to go on vacation, even if it means paying more in the summer. But you know, like I said, they're still looking to balance budgets. So I think people are looking for deals.
Now that we're beyond Labor Day and 108 in Pomona, California, how does the fall travel picture look to you? I can't get past it. It's hot.
I know 108. That's just so unfortunate. So happy fall to you.
Thank you.
I think the fall travel outlook shows kind of mixed feelings. Basically, we did a survey, and it seems like around 65 to 70% of people said they were doing better financially this year than last year. Still find inflation remains a big concern. 74% of people believe it's erasing their hard work. So I think that still means people might cut back on travel, especially as summer goes away, kids are going back to school. And inflation, according to our survey, inflation affected 64% of people's Labor Day plans. And that kind of suggests cautious spending throughout the fall.
Wow. Yeah, I believe that. I can see that. Are people in general still looking for travel deals? And if so, are they changing their travel plans to save money, such as driving versus flying or staying in cheaper resorts?
Yeah, I think people are definitely still looking for deals. 66% of Americans believe Labor Day sales offer good deals. So I think people are still looking for savings and stuff like that. And like I've said, it's budget friendly all the way, at least until we're out of the woods with inflation.
Wow, I hear you. How does Wallet Hub conduct its surveys? Do you do personal interviews, use online questionnaires, or both? And where do you find your staff? That's Dan's question.
Ooh. Where do we find our staff? I mean, I'm not sure where they found me, but we conduct nationally representative online surveys, basically. So we get a selection of the population that represents the sometimes we'll do like a student focused survey. So of course we're only going to talk to students, that sort of thing. You know, if it's nationally representative, we get people from all brackets of life, basically.
Wallet Hub is located in Florida. Any coincidence that Florida was voted the most fun state in 2020? I'm sorry, the most fun state in 2024?
Yes, it's totally rigged. Oh, you caught us. It is an interesting coincidence that Florida, where Wallet Hub is based, was ranked the most fun state. But I will say Wallet Hub used to be in Washington, D.C., which has never made that list. So that's on our side. It's not rigged. I was kidding.
No Russian influence, huh?
God, no. No.
Okay. You're watching us on Travelwitch Radio, now in our 13th season with Dan Schlossberg and Roger Noriega. Check us out on iTunes, LinkedIn, Instagram, or the Travelwitch Radio Facebook page, among other places. And we're talking today with Christy Mathern of Wallet Hub. Christy, Wallet Hub has issued many reports this year, including Best and Worst Cities for Recreation, Best and Worst Cities for an Active Lifestyle, Best and Worst Cities for Staycations, Best Summer Travel Destinations, and Happiest Cities in America. So that begs the question, since your latest report rates Florida #1 on its list of most fun states in America, how many Florida cities are included on your Happiest Cities in America list?
Well, we got a few. Cape Coral, let me start that over. Fort Lauderdale, Hialeah, Jacksonville, Miami, Orlando, Pembroke Pines, St. Petersburg, Tallahassee, and Tampa.
Wow. And you say it's not rigged?
No, it's not rigged. It's not rigged.
Okay. How about the best cities for an active lifestyle? It seems the calm climate in Florida is conducive to both spectator and participation sports.
Well, Florida's climate appears conducive to both spectator and participation sport for sure. For instance, Orlando, Florida has the most sporting goods stores per capita, and that kind of makes it a hub for fitness and things like that. So, yeah.
And it seems to me that Wallet Hub reports would be beneficial to Major League Baseball in its search for 2 new expansion teams. I've heard Nashville is on the short list, but Tennessee is not in your top 20 of most fun states. So what gives?
I guess we don't triple weight the baseball metric. But let's see. Tennessee might not rank among the top 20 most fun states according to our criteria, but fun is really subjective. So let's not forget that. If baseball is your main thing, it's going to be your best place. Tennessee is all for it. So like go to Tennessee. It can be fun too, even if it doesn't make our list.
That's a good answer. And although the state of Washington is #8 on your list of most fun states, the city of Washington is not included. Is that because you don't consider the District of Columbia a state?
And that's correct.
Wow, Dan.
That is correct. And actually, I think I could be mistaken about this, but I swear I've seen the District of Columbia included as a state in some of our cities. So maybe that changed recently. It could depend on the data that we get. I will say that.
That's
Okay, we're talking today with Christy Mathern of Wallet Hub.
I have to ask, but what states rank at the bottom of your top 20 most fun states? I was surprised that none of the 6 New England states were included, even though Dan loves Boston and Point North, especially Maine. I haven't been to Boston yet, and I don't know if I would, being a Yankee fan, but I'm sorry. We all have our faults.
Yeah. Can't all love
wow.
Boston. So at the bottom of our most fun states list, we have at the very bottom West Virginia. And second last is Mississippi, then Delaware, Rhode Island, Arkansas, Vermont, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Kentucky, North Dakota, and Indiana. So those are our bottom 10.
Oh, wow. Is it fair to say that the list of the top most the top 20 most fun states help residents as well as vacationers in making life decisions, especially in getting the most bang for their buck, the greatest variety, and the most cost-effective options?
I would certainly like to think so. Like if you are facing decision fatigue, like we all do, where are we going to go this year? This is a list you could pull up and kind of get a good general idea of what's going to be there, and if you have kids, if there's stuff for your kids to do, things like that. I do think that these studies help people decide or at least narrow down their options for vacations.
Does your report also include expert commentary?
It does.
That's cool.
We
Has
talked
Taylor
to,
Swift's... Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
we talk for this one, like it was interesting. We usually talk to professors and stuff for these studies, and sometimes they're a little more academic in nature. But we did talk to a lot of PhDs for this study too. Professor of politics, professor of entertainment media, and a public communications professor. So we spoke to a couple people.
For future, I'd recommend travel journalists like me and like Roger.
I would love that. I personally would love that. I think we need y'all's perspective.
That would be great. Speaking of other perspectives, has Taylor Swift's Eras Tour impacted your study of the most fun states? Not that I'm a Swiftie. No. My
Are
daughter
you sure? Okay. Kind of sound like a Swiftie. I don't think that Taylor Swift impacted our rankings for this. No, we didn't have like a Taylor metric, but that's not a bad idea, honestly.
Yeah.
If like Taylor chose to go to a state twice on her Eras tour, that's kind of an indicator of something.
Yeah, I would see that as well. Do states that advertise attract more tourists? I'm thinking of New Mexico, true, and Massachusetts for us all, but certainly the longstanding I love New York.
Right. Yeah, I mean that can definitely work. For the I Love New York campaign helped kind of establish it as a top destination. And, I've never even been to New York, and that ad campaign affected me. I was very young, but it's stuck in my head somewhere. I think that's a sign of an attractive and effective ad campaign. And also, it ranked 4th in our most fun states to visit, too. So there's that.
It's good to know. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking today with Christy Mathern, editor of the Wallet Hub website. Did I get it right?
Yeah, got it right. Thank you.
Sorry.
I know, I appreciate it. A lot of people mispronounce my name, so thank you.
You're too kind.
And I think New York ranks 4th because it's the home of the Baseball Hall of Fame, which
Of
I
course.
love. One of the best museums in the country. I love it there.
That's it.
Okay.
That'll be it.
Christy, our viewers always like to know a little bit about our guests, so please share where you were born and raised, where you went to school, and how you came to Wallet Hub.
Well, I was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I grew up in Denham Springs and in Baton Rouge. I went to LSU, and I moved to Grand Junction in 2020. And I'm at Wallet Hub. I've been at Wallet Hub for about 5 years. It's funny. I was starting to think about buying a house when I got hired at Wallet Hub, and it just kind of, the house search made me kind of veered toward the area of personal finance. And I did buy a house in the past 5 years, so I think Wallet Hub helped with that.
Okay.
Cool.
Is there anything about Wallet Hub that you would like to add?
Sure. Come check us out. There's incredibly useful financial tools, and there's a lot of fun research studies that we do, like this one. Not just on fun, but we do citywide studies, we do statewide studies, and every once in a while we do stuff on baseball. We have a couple of baseball, like big baseball fans in our editor pool, so we do veer toward baseball. Just to let you know.
This is your cue to show the book. There you go.
Yeah,
that's
the
the
book.
Record of Hank Aaron came out on May 14th.
Get the book.
Get
the book. I want to check out that book.
Okay. Our guest today has been Christy Mathern, editor of the Wallet Hub website, which I really enjoy. I love your releases. So keep up the good work, Christy. Thank you for joining us. Great having you.
All right. It was great being on. Thank you so much for having me.
And this is the 50th anniversary of the home run that broke Babe Ruth's record for Hank Aaron. Now that the final month of the season has started, this is your chance to share the excitement with my new biography, Home Run King, the remarkable record of Hank Aaron with a foreword by Dusty Baker. It's a 265-page hardcover that explores Aaron's contributions not only as an athlete, but as an advocate for civil rights. That's Home Run King, the remarkable record of Hank Aaron. Get it today on Amazon.com. And that's it for this edition of Travelers Radio. Next week, same time, same place, same announcers, same writer. We'll bring you an interview with Anne Flamand, a former Miss Denmark. And that'll be live at 5 Eastern. She's going to talk about Florida vacation homes. Now, this is Dan Schlossberg, along with Roger Noriega, saying thank you for your time this time. Until next time, good night and stay safe. And I'm going to give this music a shot. Here we go.